Good evening. Good evening. Freddie Vasquez here with Basement Politics. Tonight, the weekend review. I will be discussing the recent meeting of the Community and Mental Health Services Committee, chaired by Councilwoman Shanae Williams.
Let's get it poppin'.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. And tonight, we get it poppin'. Let's talk about the Community and Mental Health Services Committee meeting that took place on Tuesday and the Opportunity Zone funds. That's right, folks. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Happy Friday, TGIF. And I'm excited because I like the weekend review episodes. I love doing this podcast on Friday. It's kind of fun. Then I get to go hang out with my family. We stay up late and chill. But anyway, a lot of interesting stuff I'm going to be talking about tonight. Well, not a lot. It's a lot about one specific topic. I'm going to be talking about the Community and Mental Health Services Committee, a committee that is chaired by Councilwoman Shanae Williams. And I mentioned this before in a podcast because I just found that out, that she is the chair of this committee. And I was very surprised and shocked because her district, District 1, has a high population with mental health, drug addiction, homelessness. And I was wondering, what is this committee doing about this? I didn't even know this. She's the chair of this Community and Mental Health Committee. And I looked for meetings and I didn't see anything. And then I spoke about it on my podcast, and I mentioned it several times. And then about a week ago, maybe it wasn't a week ago, maybe it was 4 or 5 days ago, who knows? But less than a week, no more than a week, I saw on the Yonkers Tribune, hey, shout out to you, Yonkers Tribune, a little side note about the meeting that was going to be happening for the committee. The Community and Mental Health Service Committee would be having a meeting. I said, oh, shoot, they're going to be having a meeting. Great. But I forgot to watch it on Tuesday. However, today I caught the meeting and I watched it, and I was hoping to see something or hear something that was going to be done to address the mental health issues that many individuals are dealing with here in the city of Yonkers. Just today, I saw someone sitting at the bus stop yelling and smacking their feet like this, just on the concrete. It's on Sawmill River Road, actually right by 470 Nepperhan. That building I will be talking about. And, I said, let's see what they're going to do. There's drug addiction, there's homelessness, finally. And I started to watch the meeting, and I was extremely disappointed. Extremely disappointed, folks. I mean, they did talk about some stuff that they were going to do for community and mental health, and I'll go over that because that's the important stuff. Unfortunately, that was mentioned for all about maybe 2 minutes of this meeting that I believe was an hour long. And I'm going to tell you what they spoke about in terms of the community and the mental health. And then I'll go into what they spoke about the majority of the time. Well, the only item on the agenda that was dealing with the community and mental health was the fact that they are applying or want to apply or may have applied for a grant from the state for $2 million. A lot of money. A lot of money. And what is this $2 million for? Right? Three things, three specific initiatives, $2 million for these three specific initiatives. And I could only imagine the brain power that was going on in that room as they sat there and pondered on what to do with $2 million to impact the community and address the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis, the homeless crisis, I should say, and the crisis with drug addiction among the youth, especially. And minorities. Do we not care about us minorities a little extra these days? What about them? Majority of the people that are being affected are minorities. Shanae, if you just walk out your building, I'm sure you see it. I'm sure you see it. Well, first initiative that they want to, I guess, work on when they get this $2 million is for the Office of the Aging. And I'm not against the seniors. I'm aging myself. My knee's been hurting me. I'm all cool with seniors. But this is ridiculous. Office of the Aging to help with hoarding. Now, is hoarding a problem? Yeah, it's a common problem, believe it or not. Did Shanae Williams know that? Absolutely not. She was surprised. She said, is hoarding really a problem? And a gentleman by the name of Louis Albino, he says, well, since the pandemic, we've seen an increase in hoarding among seniors. Possibly because they've been locked down and unable to get anywhere. And they've been scared to go out because they haven't been provided with the PPE equipment as promised by some of the elected officials. So they can't take things out. But I will tell you that hoarding is a common problem. In fact, the firemen have a term for it. It's called Collier's Mansion. When there's a fire and it's inside the home of someone who hoards, they will radio that so other firemen know. Be careful. It presents dangerous situations because of the stuff that they have piled up high, stacked high in all the rooms. And I've seen this many times in my business. Many, many times. One time I walked into a woman's home. She had a dead bird on the floor. She was a hoarder also. I made her aware of it. She said, yeah, probably the cat brought it in. I don't know. And just left it, whatever, and kept it moving. Okay. But that happens a lot. I've seen it a lot. And for her to not even know that happens, kind of, out of touch. And for the gentleman to think that it's only becoming a problem because of the pandemic is also out of touch. But that's one thing that they want to spend some of that $2 million on. Here's number two, the YMCA. Once again, the YMCA is named in some kind of funding, seeking of funding. Why does the YMCA get so much funding? Nader Sayers just spoke about how he had a conversation with the governor and she was talking about increasing the funding to the YMCA there in Riverdale. Why is that? Can anybody tell me? I believe Ron Manton, you sit on the board there. Can you let me know why? Mr. Ron, they get so much money. And once again, they are being named here as potential receivers of some of this $2 million, which I'm not knocking, but they were just named. And the program is snug. Again, the snug program. They want to get a mobile, something mobile. They want to be mobile. They want to get a van so they can do outreach. I thought they were doing outreach already. They go out into the community, do they not? If they don't have a van and they need one in order to do that, how have they been doing it? They would just allotted 3 times their budget by Kathy Hochul. And now the council or their brains can think of is, hey, I got an idea. Let's give some money to Snug. Once again. And not that it's a bad program, has nothing to do with Snug. So please, no one take it personal. Because it's not about Snug. It's not at all. This is about the way the money is allocated. And what are the results? What is the return on the investment for that money? Do we see a difference in the community? Do we see any true improvements? Statistics, unfortunately, these days cannot be trusted. Trust me, folks, people who are genuine and understand how school systems work will tell you that numbers are fudged regularly. I used to work in the school system. Trust me, we would get the warning. So-and-so was coming. Parents were coming. Make sure you guys are on point. Really? We should always be on point. But that's how it is. That's how it is. But again, what are they doing? What are the results? Throwing more money at an organization that has been receiving tons of money already, and we are still having to deal with problems that are increasing, not decreasing, suggests that we ought to try something new. That's just my opinion. Again, as we all know, opinions are like, the brain power of some elected officials. The third initiative is STEM Alliance and Westchester Counter Association to provide free Wi-Fi access and possibly partner with, guess who? West Hab. Wow. We could have probably guessed that. I should have did a guessing game and raffled off something. I don't know. Anyone likes nerd ropes? Maybe I'll do that, right? West Hab. Again, West Hab to provide free Wi-Fi specifically to individuals in the No Dine Hill section. Okay. I mean, people are on Facebook all the time. People from all over Yonkers, because I'm all over Yonkers. I know Yonkers, especially the areas like No Dine Hill. I know those areas. Ludlow, all those areas. Riverdale. I know them. Okay? That's in my blood, those streets. And people don't need Wi-Fi. They don't need Wi-Fi. People on Facebook, Instagram all day long. I don't know. Maybe I don't know something. And I could be wrong. And please explain it to me. Because my next 3 letters that I have here on my next page at the very top is WTF. Right? What the F? I don't understand that. Right? I don't understand it. And people may say, Freddie, oh, you're being negative. I'm not. I'm not being negative. What I'm saying is that they are not, if you're going to just continue to throw money at certain organizations, and I've had people, sources, people say to me, hey, Freddie, this organization get money because this person or somebody sits on the board here, somebody sits on the board there, and that's the sole reason why they get money. Then you're not going to see anything of substance materialize. And it's just a waste. Right? They're asking for $2 million to do things that, honestly, I can show you people who are doing all those things with a lot less. A lot less. That's BS. It's an issue, but she has no clue what the seniors need. And again, this is why it's not about the seniors. It's not about, the seniors at all. And I understand that the seniors do have needs. Absolutely. And those needs need to be addressed. For example, and we've spoken about this, like the fact that they needed certain medical equipment to keep themselves safe, or the testing, and they were not provided that after they were told they would be. Right? That's important. Not that there isn't an issue maybe with hoarding, but we can say that hoarding, right? It's all part of mental health because it's not necessarily a senior specific issue. Hoarding has to do with mental health, and there are a lot of hoarders who are young. I think my wife is a hoarder, right? So, I mean, that's just not, we have, I mean, I just wish I could sit in these meetings. I don't want you to pay me. I just want to help you guys. I mean, guide you a little bit here. Seriously. You know, I mean, like, seriously. Community and mental health services. So they spent all 2 minutes saying that they've applied for this grant from the state through the CARES Act for $2 million, and that the $2 million would go to these 3 specific initiatives, right? And they didn't speak much on them at all. I think I spoke more on that than they did. And then they moved on. And I thought they were going to move on to more community and mental health services related problems that we have here in the city of Yonkers, and how they were going to address them. But they moved on to opportunity zone funds, investing. I felt like, let me finish here. That's BS. It's an issue, but she has no clue. They need their Bernice Spreckman center back. They have been locked out for 2 years in March. Where were their test kits? A senior told the mayor she needed her center and friends. She is 87. His answer is, so my mother. So is my mother. Still another year, no center. The graduation rate of YPS is fabricated. Absolutely. I understand. I mean, and this is nothing that, I know because I worked in schools. I understand how that works. I've spoke with, the administrators. I was cool with, I get friendly with people easily. And I was, friendly, and they fudge numbers. They fudge numbers. And they do it for many reasons. Many reasons to keep the school from getting closed down or to get more funding. Many reasons. It's fake, folks, man. I wish I can just prove it hardcore to where you can't say Freddie's crazy, because I'm not. This is absolutely true. I wish I was crazy, honestly. I truly, I wish. I really wish, right? And who put this together, really? Who put this together? Because although Shanae Williams, councilwoman, is the chair, she really wasn't the one doing the talking, right? And I guess she just chairs and oversees, I guess. But what is her true involvement? And they do get extra money for this. They get extra taxpayer money for being on this. And I don't see them putting real effort into it. I know councilwoman is looking to be an attorney, and that's going to take a lot of her time. Is she going to give the city a real commitment of her time, her energy, and her mental abilities? I mean, do they really care? If that's all they could come up with? That's crazy. And then so they pass that, and then they go into investing. I worked for West Half for 6 months years ago and quit. They are all about the mighty dollar. Richard's uncle made it the multi-million-dollar business it is today. Survey the residents or participants anonymously and see for yourself. Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that from people who've worked there also. Not necessarily people who tenants. I haven't spoken to tenants, but I've spoken to people who have worked there, and I've heard similar stories. But I found it crazy that they didn't speak much about community and mental health services or how they were going to address these serious needs here in the community. I mean, go to Getty Square. Drive up and down Ashburton Avenue, and you'll see it. And I don't understand how they only spent such a small amount of time. And who was in attendance in the meeting? Shanae Williams, the chair of the committee, city council president, Councilwoman Pineda, Councilman Breen, Councilman Moranti, who jumped in. I didn't even know he was on there until he jumped in at the end to ask a question about accounting. A gentleman by the name of Louis Albino. Dusan Lakic, Narissa Pena, and Jerry Post, who did the majority of the talking. She was the salesperson. She had a PowerPoint presentation. I felt like I was in a one of those presentations you go to. Well, my wife and I did this when we first got married. They were offering us a free, or at least what we thought it was free, cruise, right? And you sit in this presentation and they try to sell you something, and then you're just like, no, I'll pass. But anyway, so can I get the tickets or whatever to get the free trip? But then you have to pay for port fees and taxes and airline tickets. And next thing you know, you're like, wait a minute, we spent more money than we would have just went to a travel agent, right? That's what it felt like if you sat through there, and that would have bored most people, and it would have went over most people's head. So I wonder, who was this presentation actually for? They try to make it seem like it's for the residents. It's a good thing for the city of Yonkers. And the residents can also invest their capital gains. Really? Did you say capital gains? What are capital gains? Capital gains are your profits from investments. Not many people are investing, especially in the areas that they consider the opportunity zones. So they make it seem like this is an opportunity for residents to also invest in these opportunity zone funds, and you can make some money, invest in a business or invest in a development. Jerry Post did a horrible job of presenting and selling, but Shanae thought she did wonderful. I didn't think so. And I'm not hating. You can watch it yourself. Right? It wasn't very well. She wasn't prepared and seen, but it seemed like she was mostly trying to convince the few councilmen or council members, I should say, who were there, and other individuals, and the county executive was also on there, rather low. You didn't see his picture, but he did speak briefly. But I believe he sat on the entire meeting because this is something that he wanted to have presented. This opportunity fund or opportunity zone fund program thing is the county executive's idea. He didn't create it, but he thought that the program was a good idea, and now they're presenting it to different municipalities. And this was basically utilizing the Community and Mental Health Services Committee time to present investment opportunities for investors, not for the average resident of the city of Yonkers. This is basically like a multi-level marketing presentation. Something you go to, and they try to sell you something to buy into it, and you can make money, guaranteed. It's a great opportunity. Right? So what exactly are they talking about? Gentleman by the name of Greg Acario was also there. He assisted Jerry Post, who had trouble getting past slide 2. He moved her along, and then she tried to briefly pass slide 3, which showed the economic or opportunity zone areas, the 3 here in the city of Yonkers, before Shanae called it back. What are opportunity zones? Well, these are areas that are in distressed or communities that are in need of renewal. It's just another form of what they're doing already in the waterfront, right? And with the YIDA and the incentives that they give. This is just another way of bringing developments to Yonkers and opportunities for developers and investors alike to make money at the expense of the city and its residents. In fact, what this is basically utilizing or using, using Yonkers, the city of Yonkers, as a tax shelter, because it is being sold as an opportunity for investors to take their capital gains and put it into another investment here in one of these funds in the city of Yonkers, so they will defer their taxes or maybe reduce their taxes or eliminate their tax liability on that capital gain if they hold that investment for 10 years. This was going over way a lot of people's heads. I had to do some rewinding myself, and maybe because Jerry also didn't do the greatest job, could barely understand some parts that she was saying. But this is all finance stuff, nothing with community and mental health services. I didn't understand why was 50 minutes or 55 minutes of the hour-long meeting taking up to sell elected officials here in the city of Yonkers on this idea. And guess who they want the city of Yonkers to utilize as consultants? Have anyone ever heard of Ferrandino and Associates? Ferrandino and Associates, planning and development consultant. He was offered by the county executive, according to Jerry. He was nice enough to offer Ferrandino and Associates. And then she did a whole slide for them. Slide number 6 was all about them and how they can help. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And what is Ferrandino and Associates related to? It's Vince, gentleman by the name of Vince Ferrandino. Is they related to Ferrandino and Sons? Does anybody know that? Like I said, Jerry Post, she was a salesperson for this new scheme where rich investors and institutional investors who want to shelter their capital gains from taxation by investing within a specified amount of time into another investment can come here to Yonkers in these opportunity zone funds, right? And what they can invest in is in development. So more developments, more people, more traffic, Yonkers. You're not going to benefit. You're not going to be one of the investors unless you have capital gains to invest. Raise your hands if you have capital gains. They used an example of $50,000 in capital gains. Who has $50,000 in capital gains? Especially in these times after a lockdown. Should we allow more investors with no vested interest in the city of Yonkers to come invest here in the city? They have no care for the city. They just come here to make money, come here to shelter their profits, because capital gains are profits from other investments, so they are not taxed at that moment or at their current tax rate, or even taxed at all. What will that do for the city of Yonkers? I mean, you know, as they try to create more and more of these funds, because that's what they talked about. We could just create a fund here for Yonkers and we don't have to use these funds, and they just invest in these developments, in these new businesses or existing buildings and structures, but they have to be significantly or substantially rehabbed. Is there any upsides? What are the benefits? I only see cons. I see more overcrowding, higher crime. The more people you bring into the city, because part of this, according to Jerry, can be used to bring in new people into a certain part of the city. Who are we attracting? And from what I'm hearing, some of the waterfront properties are now accepting Section 8, but not from folks in the city of Yonkers. They are soliciting individuals from the Bronx. Allegedly. And she sold also, which I didn't like, and I just found it to be strange. And you have to watch this meeting. Ferrandino and Associates. Again, owned by Vince Ferrandino, former commissioner of planning and development for the city of Mount Vernon and the town of Greenburgh, and city planner for this former city planner for the city of Peekskill. Served in a variety of municipal leadership positions, has administered over $100 million in industrial revenue bonds and urban development action grants, financed projects, and prepared many area-wide and local economic development plans. And I was wondering if it's related to Peter Ferrandino of Ferrandino and Sons. Opportunity zone programs, right? Again, this thing is something that county executive, liked and introduced it and wanted Jerry Post to pitch some of our elected officials, some of our council members, right? What is Opportunity Zone program? They were created by the Tax Cut and Job Act in December of 2017 to revitalize economically distressed communities using private investments rather than taxpayer. That just says taxpayer. Taxpayer what? Money? Taxpayers who have a capital gain tax can delay, reduce, avoid their tax by investing their gain in an opportunity zone fund that invests in business and development projects in opportunity zones. But they say taxpayers. They're trying to trick you there. They want you to think it's you. I mean, really, it's not going to be you. These are for big investors. They're going to come in here. They're either going to invest in the funds or they're going to be the ones doing the developments, creating the funds for other investors to invest in. I can see this getting out of hand. But is there any more space? Or are they going to do a lot of rehabbing now and utilize this program to do so? There are 3 opportunity zones in Yonkers. The 3 opportunity zones are census tracts 4, 5, and 6. You can look that up. Again, I would watch the meeting if I were you, if you care. Look at it looks to be like a District 1, 2, and possibly 3, the opportunity zones. The poorest parts of southwest sides, the poorest part of Yonkers, the southwest sides, Ludlow, the waterfront area, though it has luxury buildings, still a lot going on there. Actually, Williams, not too long ago, she was assaulted by a homeless person, I believe she said. But she had to make a post about it, which I thought wasn't smart. You're supposed to be addressing this, and you're the victim of it. That was funny. At one point, Jerry Post, Jerry, her name's Jerry Post. She forgot what she was saying in the sales pitch. I guess she forgot her script. And she then says, I lost my train of thought. Trying to convince people. No, she doesn't know what she's talking about, really. She's just selling this. They're using her to pitch it. And she's getting something, I'm sure. Everybody gets something in return. Right? Eventually, the guy, Greg Arcario, he had to jump in and help her. She was like forgetting what she was saying, and then she was kind of going slow, was dragging. And eventually, he had to jump in and get her moving along through the slide. It was slide 2, actually. She got stuck on the second slide. The next slide, she breezed through that. She says it's great because it's all private investor money. Who are these private investors, however? Again, these are people with no vested interest in our city, in the schools. Truly not invested at all, except the investment that they make money off as they sleep in their big mansion somewhere outside of Yonkers. This is not a good idea, folks. And they have put it off until March. I forgot what the date is, but hopefully they'll announce it. They will. I'll be announcing that. And they want to get community input, but it doesn't seem like they really care about the community. You know what Jerry cared about most? I'll tell you in a minute. Opportunity zone investments, real estate investments. The property must be substantially improved, which means the improvements to existing buildings or the construction of new buildings must equal the cost of the acquisition, less the cost of land. I'm sorry, I can't. My handwriting, less the cost of lease over 30-month period. All right. Unless the cost of the lease over a 30-month period. I'm sorry, my handwriting I'm sloppy. Qualified opportunity funds. These are the funds that you can invest that will be created by these developments or these new businesses that come into Yonkers. Investment vehicles. They are investment vehicles. An investment vehicle that is organized as a corporation or a partnership for the purpose of investing in a qualified opportunity zone. Yeah. Several ways you can invest. You can invest in new construction, new real estate, or substantial improvements to existing buildings. These are different funds that will be created. They'll create a fund for new constructions, a fund for substantial investing, substantial improvements in existing buildings, expansion of businesses that are in these opportunity zones, and or opening of a new business in the opportunity zone. And it will. The big business guys with the big monies will do this. They're the ones that are going to take advantage of it, right? And then they're going to change the area. They're going to own the business. They're going to own the developments. They're going to own everything. Trust me, folks, as a person who invests in real estate, I own real estate, I own houses, properties, I do single family homes, right? I get calls constantly from big investors from Israel, China, primarily Israel. You got these big institutional investors, these big banks that are forming these big trusts that are gobbling up real estate. It's like they don't want the middle class or regular folks to own property. And it's crazy. I'm telling you, that's what's driving the prices up. That's what's driving the prices up, and it's making it harder for the average person. Right? And this is why you have to understand this, and this is important. And what I'm doing here is trying to inform folks so that they can provide or present some resistance, because that is, according to Jerry Post, one of the biggest concerns of the investors. She calls it a tax shelter right out and says that it was created for that purpose. She also created a slide number 6, that was titled, Ask How Can Ferrandino and Associates Help You? So they're pushing this private company onto the city and elected officials. That's crazy, right in the meeting. I just thought that was crazy. I thought that was very bold. Like one time I had a client, and the insurance company's adjuster showed up to the property with a contractor, a mitigation company, a dry cleaning company. Like she had all people that she wanted my client to utilize, all these vendors. Why? Because she obviously probably got a piece of everything. But I've never seen that before. That's wrong. They can't do that. So blows. But some people are brazen. Some people are brazen. So again, slide 6 was titled, Ferrandino and Associates Can Help. It listed 3 bullet points. Ferrandino and Associates can introduce businesses introduce business in the Yonkers opportunity zones to opportunity zone funds, introduce developers of properties in the Yonkers opportunity zone to opportunity zone funds, provide advice on the opportunity zone programs, as well as new market, low-income housing, historic preservation tax credits. They're going to build low-income housing now? Right? So Jerry says they've been talking about this, and Yonkers is open for business. She says they can create a structure by which opportunity zones funds would be interested in doing business here in Yonkers. She says there are already businesses and developments in opportunity zone funds here in Westchester, not in Yonkers, I believe, but here in Westchester. She goes on to say, concerns of investors when they look at opportunity zone funds and opportunity zone areas is things like zoning and whether or not the community is welcoming or have put up barriers for developments. Basically, what concerns the investors is zoning laws. So you guys got to make sure if we do this, you're going to be able to change that for us. And whether or not the community is welcoming or has put up barriers for development. So guys, make sure the community is Gucci. I was going to say, it's Gucci. That's what we say in the streets. You Gucci? You good? Make sure they're Gucci. They're not going to give any problems. They're not going to protest. No guy named Freddie Vassell is going to talk about it on his podcast. And as she was saying that, Shanae cuts her off because she's like, hold on. Don't say those things. Don't say those things in the meeting, Jerry. She cuts her off and thanked her for a wonderful presentation. Then out of nowhere, Moranti chimes in. Didn't even know he was in the meeting. Didn't announce himself. But I suspect there were some people there that were listening, but did not want to be known that they were there. He goes, and I have a question from an accounting point of view. And then he goes on to a bunch of other stuff that had nothing to do with nothing real quick. Thinks he's funny. And then he asks the question. He goes, if someone invested capital gains of $50,000, does that tax shelter also include any gains made from your capital gains in the tax shelter? Basically, can it be tax sheltered twice, your capital gains? And she says, if you keep your investment for 10 years in the Opportunity Zone Fund, then it becomes a tax-free investment. I don't know how true that is. I have to look that up. I thought you always have to pay your tax. Anyway, before I go, I've been on here for too long, and I'll get to some of the comments. But, for me, it seemed like this was, again, one of those presentations you go, you want a free cruise or you want a free 3 nights in Bahamas, sit through this presentation. Or you want to be in a pyramid scheme, watch the meeting on Tuesday. And again, why was this meeting a part of the Community and Mental Health Services Committee meeting? This seemed like some finance stuff, some accounting. Moranti needed to be in, and the genius, John Rubo. That's according to Corazon Pineda. It was not what I was expecting at all. And what little bit they did speak about the community and mental health, it just seemed out of touch. It didn't seem like it was well thought out. And I just don't think they care. I just truly don't think they care. I think they just put this little meeting real quick, and they really mostly utilized the time to speak about these new opportunities for rich folks. That's really what it's about. Shame on you, Shanae Williams, for doing that. Shame on you. Shame on you. There's so much you could have spoke about. There's such a need in your district specifically, but you want to be an attorney and you want to focus on real estate. So this is an opportunity, God damn, to learn with the big boys. Damn. I don't know. I guess because I was able to do some things outside of politics. I don't need politics to make money. I don't need nonprofits to make money. It's weird to me that people do this. It's weird to me. Like, it's just like, that's crazy. How do you do this? How do you just play these games like this? You guys are there to represent the people that vote you in. And you do stuff like this that does nothing for the people that voted you in. Yeah, and you want to go off on, issues of racism, Shanae Williams, but in a way, it's like you're a racist. Because you don't even want to help your own people, really. You lie to them. What makes you any better than a racist? If you're just lying and utilizing their struggles to advance your goals and your professional career. I can do a better job than you. That's for sure. And I'm saying that because I honestly just, it bothers me. That bothers me. Like, I mean, do like. And by the way, make sure that and go look at my comments. Make sure that when you guys are giving money to certain organizations, you let them know. Tell your people to take off their shirts when they engage in certain activities. Okay? Because there are people taking pictures. And that would be really embarrassing. Especially as much as you guys love giving money to that organization that's supposed to be making a change, doing the opposite. And that bothers me. There's so much money already flowing through Yonkers and it's not reaching the people. Where are the programs, job opportunities, mental health clinics needed now more than ever? It's a big money grab that never seems to benefit those in need, just those in greed. I like that. And you are absolutely right. This is a big money grab, folks. I wanted to be like, the Wolf of Wall Street. That was my goal. I swear. I'm being honest. I'm just sharing because I'm being honest. That's who I wanted kind of to be like at one point. And now that disgusts me. It does. I mean, how much money do people need? How selfish can people be? And unfortunately, it took certain, events in my life to bring things into perspective for me. But it did, and I'm glad it did. I'm glad it did. It's crazy. And that's all some people care about is just themselves and advancing professionally, money. How much money can I make? Look at me. I got money. Look at me. Look at me. I'm a lawyer. Look at me. Look at me. I'm an assistant to the council person. Look at me. I'm in there with the elected officials. Look at me. So corny. Corny, man. And you guys have done nothing. Nothing. And I can show you guys, and I should privately send you those pictures and show you what you guys are funding. Yeah. So I would like a phone call so we can actually do some real stuff. If you're going to get $2 million, I would like some of that because I have a nonprofit. Okay. And you can watch every penny that you give me. You can see everything that I'm going to spend the money on. It won't even be a salary for me. Okay. Because I'll let you know, my wife and I at one point, we wanted to do a music program. So years ago, we wrote the proposal and everything. We brought it over to the Neppahan Community Center with Mr. Bostic, and he looked it over. And he says, it's great. Just one thing I don't see here. I said, what's that? You guys didn't put a salary for yourself. I said, well, we don't, we're not looking for a salary. We just want to do this. We want to help you kids, man, And this happened because someone I was working with in music, committed suicide. Right. And it was very sad for me because I knew that kid was going to really do well. Committed suicide. And so I wanted to do this program. And he said, well, you should got to put a salary for yourself. I said, look, we don't need the whatever. We're not looking for money. No, you guys are going to be working. If you're going to do that, definitely. All right. I said, look, if it's going to cause problems, just leave it like that. Because, we didn't want to add any more money to what we were already requesting because we didn't want to push our luck. But he said, no, he insisted. So he changed it. He put a salary there. All right, you guys. All right, I guess you know best. Said he pitched it to whoever he was going to pitch it to. And they offered 30,000 of the 60,000. So he turned it down because it wasn't enough to do the program. Well, I said I would have took the 30,000 because it's something, right? It would have did something. And I'm just trying to get something going. And for you people telling people not to work with me, not to do anything with me, it's going to come out. Trust me, it's going to come out. And I got those pictures and I'll show you exactly what you guys are funding. Great plan, guys. Guess what your money's going to go to? Here you go. Look at that. Yeah. Start reaching out to other organizations. Start speaking with other people. Listen to other ideas. Because you guys are recycling the same individuals, whether it be for planning board, for that committee, for this. Individuals that are done, what are they doing? You're just recycling them. I heard one guy that was put on a board recently, his house is painted black. And some of the neighbors, I guess, have an issue with that. Gentleman been on a bunch of different boards throughout And I know the gentleman because actually he was involved in that whole issue with the music thing where the person committed suicide, and a lot of the gang members that I was involved with at the time. Not in a gang, but dealing with them through music. And I thought he was going to do something then. He had a great speech. Nothing. So are we going to actually do something? Shanae, are you actually looking to help your district and the city of Yonkers? Because you run the Community and Mental Health Committee, not the Investment Fund Committee. This isn't ING. This isn't Fidelity. What are you doing here? And you look totally clueless yourself. And I'm going to keep on this. I'm going to keep following up on this thing right here for you guys. And I'm going to investigate it even more. Find out what this is all about. Who are all these individuals here? This is crazy, man. Contact me. I put my number there. Let's do something for real for the community, because you guys can't give money to the same people, and we know why that's happening. They can explain all the negative things listed against them on Google. They can explain all the. What do you mean they can explain all the negative things listed against them on Google? Who are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Anyway, that's my thing for tonight. Sorry, I should have came on earlier, but I figured it was Friday, and some of y'all might be up. I'll be replaying this if you didn't get a chance to see. I know a lot of people on vacation, maybe traveling now, coming back from vacation. I know a lot of people that went to Florida. Shout out to you guys. Be safe. Get back safe. Fernandez. Oh yeah. Well, the people that Jerry Post was pitching really hard was this company called Ferrandino and Associates, and I don't know if they're related. I mean, it's not a common. I guess I don't see a common last name, so it'd be a coincidence they weren't. But Ferrandino and Associates, it's actually the company. I was wondering if they were related to the people who own Ferrandino and Sons. But the point really is that of this podcast is just that, here you have a council person who represents a district that is struggling. And while, yes, you are seeing some developments, luxury developments going up there by the pier, I mean, you just need to take only maybe 50 steps away from there, 100 steps away from there to see the problem. I remember I was in a business once. I was eating, and a homeless person seemed to have mental health came in, and then they would, tell, no, you got to go. No, you got to go. I felt bad. So I went up to the, owner. I said, listen, I'll pay for whatever. If she wants something to eat, I'll pay for whatever. He goes, no, she just, she's good. She's good. And what he did was he had sent one of his employees to give her $10. And I guess he gave it to her really quick, like real low and stuff like that. But I kind of peeped it, and then she went away. So then she became accustomed to it, like used to it. Like, if I go in there and kind of do this, because she came in and kind of just made a scene also. And so that was her way of hustling her money. Another gentleman today asking me for money. I've seen them before. I've seen him actually laid on the floor, just chilling with his girlfriend, like by the Dunkin' Donuts in Getty Square. You haven't reached out to me, Shanae, and I'm in your district handing out sandwiches that either I've paid for out of my own money, but you ain't look at me or consider my nonprofit when you want to hand out $2 million, or you may be handing out $2 million. But I'm in there, and I don't see anybody else, actually. I'm sorry. Just keeping it honest. I'm out there out of my own pocket or with the help of one or two other individuals or groups. Same one or two. Shout out to actually Dr. Rabati. Thank you for your donations and for helping my nonprofit. Shout out to Ron Matten. Thank you for the donations you recently have given me. Shout out to Impact. Johnny has recently given me a bunch of sandwiches, actually. Called me up last Saturday. I said, yeah, come get them. And I'll give them out. And shout out to Gianna's Family Deli. And regardless how you may feel about certain individuals or businesses, if they help me, help the community, I can't not at least say thank you for that and I appreciate it, because that's it's always gonna be appreciated by me. So thank you, because I know some people may feel a certain way about certain people. But and I get it, and I get it. I'm not even saying that you don't have a right. I'm just saying that that's my interaction. So I want to at least acknowledge that. So thank you, because Dr. Rabadi actually has done a lot of stuff recently in helping me, and Johnny Limo has done a lot, and Ron Matten just recently dropped off some stuff. Thank you. And to people, I've had parents, and to other people just in the community, thank you. But it's a shame that elected officials know what I'm doing, because they know me. They talk about me. I hear it. People tell me, oh, they be talking about you. So y'all know me. I'm in your head. I'm in your head. And I'm not even trying to say that in any arrogant way or be, narcissistic or anything like that. It's not that. It's just that I know. It's just the point that you obviously know I exist. Okay? You know that I got a nonprofit. And I'm not saying this because I want money. No, I want to freaking actually see something done. Right? And I don't want money, because I tell people, really, and everybody has done this, who's ever has participated or helped me, has given me the stuff. They haven't given me money. I don't take actual cash or checks. I tell people, I'd rather you buy the stuff so you know, and I go pick it up, or if you can drop it off. But you don't give me cash checks, because I don't want people. They love to chatter, especially with me. So I'm doing everything to make sure that you see transparency is key with me, because that's what's important. I want the trust. I want you guys to see that it's honest here. I don't need to do this. I don't. And not because, whatever. I don't. I don't make money doing any of this. I don't. I haven't gotten any benefits. In fact, I've had issues, right? So you know who I am, Shanae. You know how to reach me. You know what I'm doing. I'm in your district doing your job. So you can at least reach out to me and say, hey, you know what? We got some funding maybe. What's your organization doing? Can I come by? See what you guys are doing without any help from us, out of your own pocket, and with our we're giving you a hard time. So there you have it. That's what I'm saying, man. It's just time. You know what I'm saying? It's time that we, things they had a hand in Ridge Hill. They had a hand in Ridge Hill. Gianna's has the best eggplant and hot food. Yeah, and Alfonso's Pizza on Riverdale Avenue has the best stuffed shells. Okay, and then Gino's, the best slice, and Reno's on Lockwood has amazing penne alle vaca, if you want in the mood for that. All right, and La Hacienda on Central Avenue, who've been in business probably 3 months now, has some amazing tacos if you're in the mood for that, right? And I want to shout out those businesses, because I support you guys. I support people, right? I'm not like the officials that don't work with Freddie Vasquez. Don't do It gets back to me, folks, because people like me. I'm a good guy. They see what I'm trying to do. Okay, it's evil for you to try and stop someone who's trying to do good in the community. Anyway, I'm Freddie Vasquez. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back on Sunday night. Forgot what I was going to talk about that on Sunday night. But I'll be back then. I'll let you know when I forgot what the topic was going to be, actually. But I'll be back Sunday night. Basement Politics Unfiltered. I'm actually Ukraine. I'll talk a little bit about what's going on there, and also, in the media, in the role that the media plays, in conflicts like that, and specifically in this conflict here, and not to say that bombing isn't happening, but are they to, the extent that, here the media here is saying, and what interest does, Biden and the Biden family have in assuring that, Ukraine remains, I guess, independent of Russia? And why is it that Vladimir Putin, seems to always make a move whenever Joe Biden is in office? when he was vice president back in 2003. And by the way, 2013. I'm sorry, I made that mistake twice. 2013. I meant to say in the last podcast, I said 2003. 2013, Putin made a move when Joe Biden was vice president. And now recently, as Joe Biden is president. Why? Why does he challenge that man and doesn't challenge others? Is it because he has all the information on the corruption the Biden family is involved in over in Ukraine? Folks, you got to do your research, man. It's not as simple as you think. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. Have a great night. Shanae, next meeting you hold should be more substance. Have to do more with community and mental health, please. That was horrible. Horrible. Yeah, it was horrible, Shanae.
Let's get it poppin'.
That's right. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics, Unfiltered. Tonight's episode was about the Community and Mental Health Services Committee meeting. It was less about community and mental health services and more about investing for all you rich individuals with capital gains. Shanae's got an investment for you. Check it out in District 1. I am Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me. If you join me, thank you for watching. If you watch later on, like all you guys like to do.
Freddie wins.
Thank you for joining me, folks. That is your Basement Politics episode for tonight. Why is it that the same organizations constantly get funded? Same handful of organizations. Why?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did. We can go on all night with this, honey.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Like I said, political games that are being played. You could have, like I said, political games that are being played. You could have.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Game over.
No!